Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are tackling one of the biggest and, honestly, most feared parts of learning Spanish, the subjunctive mood. It can feel like this impossible mountain of rules, but I promise, by the end of this, you'll see it's really just about understanding two different ways of looking at the world. I mean, think about it for a second. In any language, you're not always just stating facts, right? You're talking about your hopes, your doubts, your wishes, your feelings. The subjunctive is the key that unlocks all of that in Spanish. It's not just some boring grammar point. It's what lets you communicate your entire inner world. So how do we get our heads around this? The absolute best way is to imagine two parallel worlds. Spanish grammar basically gives you a mood for each one. The indicative mood? That's for the objective world, the world of facts, of things that are certain and real. But the subjunctive, that's for the subjective world, the world of feelings, opinions, doubts, and everything that isn't a concrete fact. And here's the crucial difference. If you're stating something you believe is a fact, you use the indicative. The sky is blue. Simple. But the moment you express a wish, like, I hope the sky is blue tomorrow, well, now you're in the world of desire, of uncertainty. And that, right there, is subjunctive territory. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, the concept makes sense, but forming these verbs sounds like a nightmare. Well, you'd be surprised. The way you actually build the subjunctive is incredibly logical. There's a simple, repeatable formula for almost every single verb. And this formula really is that straightforward. You take the yo form of the verb, the I form, like hablo from hablar or tengo from tener, then you just chop off that final O. And for the last step, you add the ending from the other verb group. It's a switcheroo. And here you can see that opposite ending idea perfectly. Verbs that usually end in R, they get the endings that look like they belong to ER verbs. And the verbs that end in ER or IR, yep, you guessed it, they take the endings from the R verbs. It's a simple, beautiful swap. This right here shows you the genius of that first step. By starting with the yo form, you automatically take care of a ton of irregular verbs. Think about it. Tener becomes tengo in the present, so its subjunctive stem is teng. Decir becomes digo, so its stem is dig. The irregularity gets carried right over. It's so efficient. Okay, so now we know how to build it. Let's get to the real meat of it. When do you actually use it? The good news is there are some common situations that basically act like giant, flashing neon signs telling you, hey, use the subjunctive here. Let's call them triggers. The first big trigger is anything to do with will and influence. So anytime you're trying to get someone else to do something, you want them to, you need them to, you recommend they do it, you're going to need the subjunctive. You are essentially trying to impose your will on someone else's reality. Next up, emotion. This one's huge. If you are reacting emotionally to something someone else does or to a situation, you're happy about it, sad about it, surprised, sorry. That feeling, that emotional reaction triggers the subjunctive. It's your subjective take on their reality. And this is a perfect example of that. Value judgments. Anytime you say something like, it's good that, or it's a shame that, you're expressing a pure opinion. It's not an objective fact, right? It's your personal judgment. So, of course, that lives in the subjective world and needs the subjunctive. This one kind of just makes sense, doesn't it? If the first part of your sentence is all about doubting or denying something, you are literally saying that the next part is not a fact. When you say, I doubt that he has the money, you're questioning reality itself. And that's a direct ticket to the subjunctive. Okay, this one is a little more subtle, but so powerful once you get it. The subjunctive is used when you're talking about something that might not even exist. Just look at the difference here. I need the book means I have a specific book in mind. It's real, it exists. So we use the indicative, the NA. But I need a book means I'm just looking for any book that fits my criteria. Maybe that book exists, maybe it doesn't, it's indefinite, and that uncertainty requires the subjunctive tenga. So if you take a step back, you'll see that all these triggers, will, emotion, doubt, indefiniteness, they all boil down to this one single fundamental conflict, the battle between what's certain and what's uncertain. This slide just makes it crystal clear. When you say, creo que, I believe that, you're stating your reality. It's a certainty for you. So you use the indicative, está. But watch what happens when you add one tiny word, no.
No creo que, I don't believe that, you've just flipped the whole thing into the world of doubt. And that uncertainty demands the subjunctive, este. Isn't that wild? One word changes the entire mood.
And really, this is the core of it all. This is the mantra. If there's no doubt, there's no subjunctive. Before you speak, just do a quick mental check. Am I presenting this next idea as a fact, as a certainty? If the answer is yes, you're in the clear. No subjunctive needed.
And of course, on the flip side of that, any phrase that screams certainty, it's true that, it's obvious that, there's no doubt that, well, those are going to lock you firmly into the world of facts. They keep you safe and sound in the indicative mood. Okay, one last thing. And this is a really important little rule that's going to save you from a super common mistake people make with all these trigger phrases. Here's the deal. The subjunctive usually kicks in when there's a change of subject. Look at the first example. It is necessary that you study. See? We've got two different subjects, it and you. So we use the subjunctive, estudies. But in the second one, we're just making a general statement. It's necessary to study. There's no second subject. So you don't use the subjunctive. You just use the basic infinitive form of the verb. Easy peasy. So after all that, it really just comes down to this one simple question. This is the mental model you need. Before you speak, ask yourself, am I stating a fact or am I expressing a subjective reality, a wish, a doubt, an emotion? If it's a fact, you go indicative. If it's anything else, that's your cue for the subjunctive. In the end, getting a handle on the subjunctive isn't really about memorizing a bunch of grammar rules. It's about getting a key to a whole new level of expression. It's the tool that lets you talk about not just the world as it is, but the world as you hope it is, as you feel it is, and as you imagine it could be.